Hello everyone, Ian here and welcome to the Fun Guy channel. For today's video, I wanted to share with you guys my Solar Hunter build that works perfect for solo players. Hell, this build even works great with the fire team, making survivability the main priority, but also dishing out some crazy damage. But before we get into it, if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. With the drop of Destiny 2's Lightfall, I'll be making a lot more videos in the weeks to come, so stick around, it'll be great. Okay, so let's get right into the build, starting off with my subclass. Obviously, I'm running Solar subclass. For my super, I'm running Blade Barrage. For my dodge ability, I'm using Gambler's Dodge, so I can always get my melee back. For my jump, I'm using Triple Jump, and for the knives, I'm using Knife Trick because I feel that it's the best one for PvE activities, but you can practically use any knife you want. Just be sure to try to get those final blows with your knife whenever you can, and I'll explain in a minute. And for my grenades, since I'm using the Exotic Gauntlet's Amahakara Spines, I'll be using the Trip Mine grenades. I never really use them for PvE purposes, but they actually work great. Definitely a top choice in PvP though. Now for the aspects. The first one I'm using is Knock 'em Down, which enhances your super ability, and in my case, Blade Barrage. It gives me more projectiles, which is always good. But what I'm really looking for on this aspect is what it says below. While Radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refunds your melee energy. And that's why I mentioned try to get final blows with your melee, because this perk pairs perfectly with a fragment that I'm currently using right now, and I'll show you in a minute. The other aspect I'm using is Gunpowder's Gamble, and this gives you a TNT dynamite explosive that deals crazy damage and ignites enemies. Also keep in mind, ignition damage that this explosion causes stuns unstoppable champions, so that's great as well. Now for my fragments, and this is where the survivability comes into play here. First fragment I'm using is Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates fire sprites. And fire sprites are an illuminous concentration of solar energy, aka elemental solar well, which unfortunately got taken out due to the new mod system, but fire sprites is basically your new elemental well for solar hunters, or solar in general. But here comes the best part. The next fragment is called Ember of Mercy, and I believe this fragment got dropped along with Lightfall. When reviving an ally, you and other nearby allies gain restoration. Picking up a fire sprite grants restoration. So with Ember of Searing, you'll be defeating enemies with scorched damage from solar weapons and abilities, so you'll always be consistently pooping out fire sprites all over the place, resulting in better chances for survival. And for my last fragment, this is the one that pairs great with the aspect Knock 'em Down, and this one is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. And so if you go back to Knock 'em Down, while radiant, melee final blows fully refund your melee. So you'll be consistently getting back your melee as long as you're getting melee kills. And that's pretty powerful. Okay, let's go over my weapons real quick. In my kinetic slot, I'm using the exotic linear Arbalest. And yes, I know, linear's got a nerf, but I can assure you that Arbalest still does work. It'll still put out lots of damage, and having anti-barrier still makes it a viable weapon for PvE activities. And in my energy slot, I have probably one of the best, if not the best, SMG in the game, the Callus Mini Tool. This weapon deals solar damage, and I have it with Extended Barrel, Flared Magwell, and Grave Robber. Grave Robber allows me to fully refund my magazine each time I get a melee kill, so it works perfectly for this build. And it comes with Incandescence, which is a top tier perk for any solar weapon. Now for my heavy slot, I'm using the Avalanche Heavy Machine Gun, which also deals solar damage. It's an adaptive frame, and this bad boy comes with Flare Magwell, Auto-Loading Holster, and Vorpal Weapon, with a Stability Masterwork. And the mod I have on it is a major spec, so I can get those yellow barred enemies down fast. Now, I'm going to tab on over to the brand new mod customization screen that was added with the Lightfall DLC, and I'm going to start with my helmet. So, I have a mobility mod, Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, Harmonic Siphon, rapid solar weapon kills create orbs of power, paired with a heavy ammo finder. For my gauntlets, I have another mobility mod. Then I have Firepower. Your grenade final blows create orbs of power. Then I have 2 Impact Inductions. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And this mod does stack, giving me more potency to help generate grenade energy faster. For my chest piece, I have a mobility mod, Harmonic Resistant, reducing the incoming solar damage from combatants, a Void Resistant mod, and I have a mod I'm currently trying out called Emergency Reinforcement. So when you collect a armor charge, when your shields become broken, you gain a temporary damage reduction. And again, I'm still currently trying this out, but from the most part, it seems to work pretty decent. For my boots, I have a mobility mod, And better already, your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. Then I'm using a brand new mod called Solar Weapon Surge, which your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while having any armor charge. And from my experience so far, having at least 2 stacks of armor charges is where I noticed the bump in damage when using the Callus Mini Tool. So I can confidently say that this mod works quite well. So for any solar builds out there, I highly recommend trying out this mod if you can. Then I have Absolution, reduce all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. And finally, for my class item, I have a Resilience mod, 2 Bomber mods which reduces grenade cooldowns when you use your class ability, and yes, this mod does stack. And lastly, I have Distribution, reduce all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And now for my artifact, and the mods I have active that fits my solar build. And the first one I have Authorized Mods Solar. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting your solar weapons are significantly discounted. And then I have Authorized Mods Grenades. The armor energy costs of all my armor mods affecting your grenades are significantly discounted. And finally I have Solar Surge. Collecting a fire sprite gives you armor charges, giving me more chances to spawn out fire sprites. So there you have it. That is my Solar Hunter build for solar players, or anyone really that wants a fantastic, reliable build that can survive any encounter, along with spamming grenades and melee abilities for clearing out trash mobs and dealing some insane damage to bosses and endgame activities. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for stopping by today. It really means the world to me. If you found this video useful, please consider leaving a like on it. And if you guys want to see an Arc Hunter build, let me know down in the comments because I have a build that's pretty nuts. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, that way you won't miss out on my next video. Stay positive out there, and until next time, peace out.